Who is going down from the Premier League? I want to take a look with Stevie Nicol at the teams potentially involved in the relegation scrap. Stevie, there are sides that have played 26 games all the way up to 29 games. But the thing that stands out for me is a team that, when you were playing, were always one of your main rivals and one of your main challengers, Everton. Are they too good to go down?
No, they're not too good to go down. But I would suggest that they have enough players and enough quality, and a manager who will make them fight to the end in order for them to stay up. I think there's no question. They have 3 games in hand on the 3 sides below them, which is absolutely huge in my opinion. Because right now you can't put any money on anybody in that. I would say that bottom 5, because I'm going to bring Leeds into this.
Mm-hmm.
In all truthfulness, when they step on the field, you can't honestly put your hand on your heart and think that they're going to win, because they've all done, the 5 bottom sides have all done every single thing they can to lose every single time they step on the field. So, so the fact that they've got games in hand, in my opinion, is the reason Everton will stay safe. I think they'll get something out of it. They lost narrowly at home to Wolves 1-0. That tells you that they're close enough that they can win games. The other sides, Norwich to me are down. I don't see Burnley surviving as much as they'll fight. They just don't.
Even though they've got a couple of games in hand on Watford and on Leeds.
The one thing that they have done under Sean Dyche is defend. This team has forgotten how to defend, and actually the 3 bottom sides in particular, Burnley, Norwich, Watford, can't defend. I mean, you're always going to get freak results. Watford beating Southampton last week was, in my opinion, a freak result. I've no idea where it came from. Southampton were absolutely flying, and all of a sudden they lose to Watford, who, as I said, can't. They just don't know how to defend. And you can say the same about Leeds. I mean, Leeds won at the weekend 2-1. They tried everything against Norwich to lose this game. They should have been 3-0 up at half-time. They couldn't take the chances. They don't have a goal scorer, in my opinion. They did go ahead, and then they lose a crazy goal because, in my opinion, they don't have good defenders. They get another goal. They go ahead in the 90th minute and still give Norwich a chance in the 96th minute, which should have drawn the game. So it's kind of sounding like I'm talking myself into saying that Everton are going to stay up, because I think Everton will stay up.
What is the biggest trait that you need when you go through a relegation battle? Is it having experience of being in a relegation battle before? If not, what is it?
I think it's composure. I think it's definitely composure. Everton have, going forward with Gordon, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, that's a good front 3. That's a front 3 that can score goals. And so you have to compose yourself, understand where you're strong, and then play to that strength. And I'm sure that Frank Lampard and his staff can solidify this back line by keeping it simple. This is about results. This is not about playing out from the back. That's what I would do if I was Frank. I would stop this nonsense about playing it out from the back. Go Jack Charlton. Play the game in the opposition's half. And so if you do cough the ball up, the opposition have got 60, 70, 80 yards maybe before they're getting near your goal. So I would get rid of this passing out the back nonsense. Just make it a fight. And I think Everton have got plenty of fight in them. Allen and the caught in the middle. They'll fight all day. Same as Coleman will fight all day. They've got fight in them. So you keep it simple and you play to your strengths with a little bit of composure. And that's what I think they should do.
As a former Liverpool player and a Liverpool fan, do you want Everton to stay up?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think the Premier League's a better place with Everton in it. I obviously have plenty of Evertonians who are friends of mine who, of course, I'm taking the Michael out right now. But no, I don't want to see them go down. Absolutely not.
I mean, that's one of the first fixtures that any fan of any team looks for, the derby. And I know there'll be some that will want Everton as far away from Liverpool as possible and relegated every season, but everyone looks forward to a Liverpool-Everton game, don't they?
Yeah, for me, Mark, it's kind of like whatever you do against your big brother. You want to beat them, but you don't want to see them falling off the edge of a cliff, do you? So
you want them around, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much what it would be if Everton were to get relegated. It really would be, considering the promise that the future could hold, moving into a new stadium, the financial backing that they've had recently, and I'm sure will continue, particularly if they stay in the Premier League. So the future looks good. I mean, it would be a massive blow for them to, as I say, pretty much fall off the edge of a cliff and have to start again.
Okay, so from what you've said, you've got Norwich and Burnley down. Is it Watford or Leeds as the other one to go with them? If Watford,
I think it's Watford.
So the bottom,
well, because Leeds have got the points. That's the only reason. As I said, Watford beating Southampton to me was a complete freak shock. I was absolutely flabbergasted. But Leeds have got points, and so it's one thing to have games, but it definitely helps if you've got points and Leeds have points. And I think ultimately that's why they'll stay up.
So if Burnley do go down, would they have made a mistake by keeping on to Sean Dyche, assuming that he lasts the season with them?
Well, I would suggest if they got rid of Sean Dyche 2 or 3 seasons ago, then they would have been in the Championship 2 or 3 seasons ago. You can't keep making New York strip out of mincemeat, can you? And that's kind of what Sean Dyche has been doing. It always will catch up with you in the end. If you don't replenish your squad, if you don't sign players and keep the turnover going of your playing squad, then it'll catch up on you. That's what's happened to Burnley. They've got pretty much the same squad and starting 11. They've probably got at least half of the starting 11, maybe more, who've been there for 6, 7 years. And so it's caught up with them. It's certainly not Sean Dyche's fault. I would suggest the men upstairs, they're the ones that will have to carry the can for this one.
Whenever Stevie Nicol drops a food analogy, especially when it involves New York strip or mincemeat, then it's time to end it and try and make a shepherd's pie from that mincemeat.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.